Welcome to another edition of The Changeover. I am Arthur Vance, the guy who still thinks a well-placed drop shot is the highest form of art, even if the juniors I coached last summer thought I was speaking a dead language.
And I am Elena Cruz. I left a perfectly stable career in finance because I realized the only numbers that actually matter are the ones happening on a baseline. We are powered by secondserveaces.com, by the way.
Marcus Thorne here. I have spent the better part of 3 decades chasing stories from the locker rooms of Melbourne to the back alleys of Monte Carlo, and I am still waiting for someone to give me a straight answer about the state of the game. Right. Well, let's dive into the breaking news. Jessica Pegula has done it again in Charleston. 3 titles in 2026. It is almost boring how consistent she is.
Boring? Arthur, it is beautiful. I was looking at the heat maps from the final, and her court coverage percentage in the second set was statistically absurd.
It is not just the numbers, Elena. I was at the site last week, and the energy in the locker room, it is different. She is not playing like a defending champ. She is playing like she owns the zip code. I noticed she tapped her frame 3 times before every serve. It is a very specific ritual. Do you think that is why she is so locked in?
I think it is because she is hitting her spots with surgical precision. If you check secondserveaces.com, you can see the tactical breakdown of how she forced those short balls.
Exactly. And speaking of hitting spots, did anyone see the Monfils match in Monte Carlo? Gael is still out here defying the laws of physics at his age. Wait, the 3-setter? I mean, watching him on clay is like watching a jazz musician who forgot the sheet music but somehow found a better melody.
He shouldn't have won that third set. The probability of him converting that many defensive lobs into winners is, well, it is a statistical anomaly.
That is the Monfils effect, though. You can not model for a man who is actively trying to entertain himself while he plays. He is the last of the true showmen. It is refreshing. Most of these guys today play like they are executing a pre-programmed script. Gael is just improvising.
I mean, it is risky. If he plays that way against a top 5 seed, he is going to get dismantled by the geometry of the court.
Maybe, but I would rather watch him lose while being brilliant than watch some of these other guys win while being efficient robots. Speaking of shifts in the draw, we have to talk about Stuttgart. Alexandra Eala is in after Xinwen Zheng withdrew. That changes the dynamic of the main draw completely, doesn't it?
It does. Eala brings a different spin rate. If you look at the tactical depth charts on secondserveaces.com, you'll see why she is a nightmare for anyone expecting a traditional pace.
It is a massive opportunity for her. I got a text from a contact on the ground earlier. The buzz around her practice sessions is real. She is hungry. Hungry is good. But can she handle the pressure of the main draw? That is a different beast entirely.
She has the movement for it. The real question is whether she can adjust her depth perception for the clay surface in Stuttgart. It is faster than people think.
I suspect she will surprise a few people. The narrative shift when a qualifier gets a break like this, it usually produces a run. I am rooting for her. There is something about an underdog getting a lucky break that makes the whole tournament feel a bit more unpredictable.
Unpredictability is just another word for data we haven't processed yet, Arthur.
And that is exactly why you need to head over to secondserveaces.com for the full analysis. We have got the heat maps, the tactical breakdowns, and the stories that aren't making the headlines. Secondserveaces.com really has been the only thing keeping me sane this morning, especially with this news about Eala. Francisco Roig? That is a massive pivot.
It is, but it is the kind of pivot that makes sense if you look at the geometry of her clay game. She is trying to reclaim that specific Nadal-esque heavy spin.
I was hearing whispers about this back in March. People keep calling it a coaching change, but it feels more like an insurance policy for Roland Garros. Right. And training alongside Rafa? That is like asking to study for a physics exam while sitting next to Einstein.
Exactly. But Einstein didn't have to defend a Roland Garros title against a field that is finally figured out how to slide on the dirt.
The narrative here is clearly legacy protection. You don't bring in Roy to overhaul your game. You bring him in to sharpen the blade you already have. I just hope she doesn't lose that frantic, beautiful energy she plays with. Sometimes when you get too technical, you lose the soul of the shot.
Arthur, please. Soul of the shot doesn't win Grand Slams. Efficiency wins Grand Slams.
Speaking of efficiency, did you see Alcaraz in Monte Carlo? He dismantled Baez.
6-1, 6-3. It was a clinical performance. My data points for his movement patterns were basically off the charts.
Wait, did he look like he was actually enjoying it? Sometimes he looks like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He looked loose, Arthur. I spoke to a few people on site, and they said he was laughing during the warm-up. That is a dangerous Alcaraz.
When he is laughing, the risk-reward ratio on his drop shot improves by about 15%. It is not just a mood. It is a tactical advantage.
I love that. A laughing Alcaraz is good for the sport. It balances out the stoic types. Well, the stoic type was clearly absent in Houston. I just got back from there, and let me tell you, the energy for Shelton and Andrade was electric.
4-6, 6-3, 10-6. That is a comeback, Marcus. How did they pull that off?
It was grit, honestly. Andrade kept the structure, and Shelton he treated the super tiebreak like a backyard pickup game. I love a good doubles underdog story. It is the ultimate test of chemistry, isn't it?
It is a test of communication. Most players treat doubles like a secondary gig, but when you see a win like that, it proves the tactical depth secondserveaces.com talks about is real.
Exactly. The platform breaks down those service patterns in a way that makes you realize why Shelton was so effective at the net. I need to check that out. I am still trying to figure out why my own doubles partner stopped returning my calls.
Maybe because you kept insisting on serving and volleying on second serves, Arthur.
Classic Vance. Well, look, we have got a busy week ahead. If you want the full breakdown on these matches, head over to secondserveaces.com. Everything you need is there. The stats, the stories, and none of the nonsense. See you all next time.